Hafa and welcome to D18 tonight. I'm Nestor Lecanto. Joining us in the studio are our senatorial candidates, Democrats Armando Dominguez and former Senator Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll begin by giving each of you 30 seconds to introduce yourselves. Let's start with you, Senator Barnes.
Hafa, Nestor, and to the people of Guam. My name is Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes. I currently live in the village of Chalampago, and I thank you for having us here this evening.
Armando, you want to welcome us to the...
Well, my name is Armando Dominguez. Probably most of you knows me already. I've been running, and for the reason that the problem of Guam is continues to exist, and I think there must be aggressive thing to be done. I'm from Asan, and I have been here in Guam for almost 47 years. So I feel Guam like my real home, you know. So I need your help that I may be in on this coming election.
Yeah. I also want to give you an opportunity to talk about your educational background and some of the community organizations you've been involved with.
Thank you, Nestor. I'm a 1980 grad from the Academy of Our Lady of Guam. I did do some enrichment courses at the Guam Community College, and I continued to go to the College of Hard Knocks, but more importantly with my public service, I'm still with the Guma Mami of Guam, been there for about 15 years. I am now the president of Guma Mami, continuing to work for those with developmental disabilities. I've also worked in a lot of other nonprofit organizations like Sanctuary, Salvation Army, the Bill Muñoz Foundation, and the Women's League of Guam, and continue to do so much more. Thank you.
You, Mr. Dominguez, your educational background and some of the community organizations?
I graduated Bachelor of Arts from Manuel A. Quezon University, Manila, Philippines. I took up military training also. I was trained at Fort Magsaysay, and I was commissioned there as a second lieutenant. Then I went to Guam and involved myself in business. And doing that, I also involved myself in so many community work and expanding the right of the peoples. And I've been talkative on so many issues, so that sometimes some of them are not politically right, that it caused my political downfall in many times, but I don't care. As long as I fight for the people of Guam, I will insist. And I still continue to run because the problem is still exists. And I know, and I cannot politically say to you what are those problems, because people may get hurt.
All right, let's go straight into the questions now. Give you an opportunity to tell us what your top priority will be, Mr. Dominguez, if you're elected senator.
Well, my top priority, as I expounded before, is to improve our taxation problem, because that is the source of income of the government, and that is also the money being spent by the private sector. So we have to somehow level the playing field, and then where the money goes and how the money come, nothing like that. So it's like a simple management. Because if the government is without money, then it cannot run. And the same thing, if the business don't profit, they cannot pay taxes. But somehow, there are a lot of experts. They can put together all their mind. They must have a think tank. And then whatever discuss that, we can discuss this at the legislature. I'll just be the spokesman.
Let me just, I apologize. I needed to tell you that we were giving you about 30 seconds for each answer, but I think we're going to get to the tax question a little bit later again. Senator Barnes.
Well, Nestor, education, safety, and health are always going to be priorities. But if given the chance, there are several revenue enhancements legislations that are already passed into law that I would like to revisit so full implementation could be done. We talk about the bed and breakfast. We talk about municipal recycling. We talk about the bottle beverage container act, and even with the medicinal cannabis. So those are the initiatives that I will continue to work with.
Okay. Question number two, back to you, Senator Barnes. As Mr. Dominguez alluded to, where do you stand on the issue of raising taxes? And if you don't support raising taxes, what are your ideas to generate revenue?
I think raising taxes was a big mistake. Before we go out and hit the backs of our hardworking people, we have to look at collecting the taxes that are due to the government, and that would be the first step. We should not be raising taxes without collecting what is owed. And then again, working on the revenue enhancements that are already in legislation in place today that we can implement so that our economy can grow and thrive.
Okay. Mr. Dominguez, get another opportunity to talk about taxes.
Well, taxes, I said, the government cannot run without money, but then it comes from taxes. Though, in somehow, we have to improve the tax system, and we have to define what is the GRT, how does it work. Do you have to pay all the things that you get out and then you come back? Is that a gross receipt or a partial receipt? So there's no definition of the GRT. If I put up $40,000 and then when I come back, that's $50,000. Do I have to report the $50,000 which is a gross receipt? Nobody can explain me that. With what is gross receipt are there?
Okay. Next question, actually sticking with taxes again. If push comes to shove and there was an implementation of sales tax, what is your position on that and vis-a-vis the business
I
privilege
think it has
tax?
to be repealed, because the sales tax, especially now, it's an additional. You can convert the GRT into a sales tax so that everything is levelized, But now you just increase it an additional, so actually you increase the tax, But in the sales tax, everybody will be taxed. In the gross receipt, the one, sometimes like I explained before, the tax system is not well defined. I've been asking that how they define, even the accountant, they said it's just a pass-through money. But the way I understand it, it's not a pass-through money. It's a kind that I receive back. But do I have to report that or when it comes to income tax, we are not supposed to file income tax under the revenue code.
Senator Barnes, and your
The
position on the
question,
sales tax.
Do I support?
Would you support a sales tax? If push came to shove and the sales tax was implemented, what do you think of that?
Again, before we impose the sales tax into our people and our community as a whole, we have to look at what is due to our island. And then we can also look at other revenues coming in and new industries coming in before we work on a sales tax to our community.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more with our candidates right after this.
Smiling is a natural response to joy, happiness, and excitement. Your smile reveals a lot about who you are. A healthy, beautiful smile can brighten your appearance and be an invitation to conversation and friendship. It is often one of the first things people notice about you. Now, thanks to the advancements in dentistry, you can have the smile you have always wanted, giving you an improved smile that looks and feels great.
My silver fillings that I have, they're getting older in my mouth and I need to replace them. So I've started to do that and I've replaced them with the white fillings and I've had really great success with that. It looks good, they feel natural, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the bleaching. I want a white look all around my mouth.
You guys just set it back there.
Welcome back to D18 tonight. We're taking your questions on Facebook Live with us in studio, of course. Once again, our senatorial candidates, Armando Dominguez and former Senator Tina Rose Muñoz-Barnes. Senator Barnes, question to you. This has been in the news for quite a bit the last couple of years. There's a real threat of losing Medicare and Medicaid funding. The problems at the Guam Memorial Hospital didn't happen overnight. If elected, this is an issue you will have to contend with. What are some of your ideas to fund GMH once and for all?
Nestor, the legislature has continued on a yearly basis to fund and help with the tobacco taxes and all the other resources that have been coming in. I think that if we revisit the public-private partnerships, that would be one recourse. Again, collection needs to be done. And because we have a mandate that we cannot turn anybody away, I think what we need to do is continue to work with our public healths in the northern, central, and southern areas where we take those who really don't need emergency services and detour them into looking into those public health areas so that they could alleviate the ones for more serious emergencies. And I think that would be helpful. Again, there's other programs in place right now, like collections and I guess the taking of the taxes that is due to the people that owe at the hospital. And though I really don't think that that's a great idea, it has helped in the past.
Mr. Dominguez, how do we resolve the decades-long problem of the Guam Memorial Hospital?
Like in the hospital problem is number one is the collection. They have to improve the collection, and at the same time, any money earmarked for other departments that are not really useful, they should be earmarked back to the hospital, because there are many line agencies that are not really useful, but I cannot say which agency that have to be phased out in our system. You know, we have to get those money and then put it on the hospital, because our priority here is the hospital, because if you are not healthy, you cannot even go to school, you cannot even go to work. So we have to improve and put up the money, and there is our auditor to find out whether the money that is put there, you know, is really being used. You know, you cannot just say pay somebody for doing anything. So they are on call, and then if they were not called, you pay them the same amount of money. There must be some bargaining on how we hire people, on what is their status, you know. Okay. That's it.
All right, Mr. Dominguez, question from a Facebook listener. How would each of the candidates address the issue of rebuilding Simon Sanchez, and would you prioritize matters pertaining to education? And this is a question from Jericho Tobias. Thank you very much.
Well, building Sanchez it has been an issue ever since. There were a lot of promises, but if you don't have the money, how can you build up a school? You know, if really we cannot produce any money, we can ask the federal government to assist us on this matter, you know, because if we cannot have any money, if other country can get something out of our Uncle Sam, why cannot Guam get some money to augment our resources? Like I said, we have to reorganize the government so that those non-functional or not essential in our system should be eliminated. And I have one essential that should be done by the private sector, no, not to be by the government. Because like they are the ones selling, so they are the ones to be advertising. It's not the government selling. Remember, the department in overall, they don't have that kind of department, but here in Guam we have that kind of department. That department must be eliminated.
All right. Senator Barnes, let me ask the question again. How would you address the issue of rebuilding Simon Sanchez, and would you prioritize matters pertaining to education?
Definitely prioritize matters as it relates to education. I truly believe that we have successes that are in the education system today, like with Okadu and that, where there is a true public-private partnership that comes in, helps with the financial resources to the government to help build the schools, then to run and management, and then the teachers and the administrators within the educational department are there to look for the education of the student and all that. So keeps the teachers to teaching the students and the private partnership to be able to manage and build the facility and make sure that the maintenance is kept up to date. We have several successes already in place today. We should emulate more of that.
All right. Moving on to another question from one of our Facebook viewers, Scarlett Ramirez Castro-Dixon. Thank you, Scarlett. Let me go to you, Senator Barnes. What solutions can you provide to inmates who have insufficient amounts of rehabilitation and to stop the revolving door of criminals?
I think education is key, Nestor. I think that counseling is also key. I think that community involvement needs to be engaged, but more importantly, for those who have families, there needs to be a communication between families and those who are going through rehabilitation, because with family involved, with those who've made mistakes in their life, it becomes a bonding so that there could be a rejuvenation or a re-synergy for the defendant or for those that are in prison to come back and be engaged into the community. So education, training, counseling, and family engagement.
Thank you. Mr. Dominguez, the question again from Scarlett was, what solutions can you provide to inmates who have insufficient amount of rehabilitation and to stop the recidivism, the revolving door of criminals?
Well, first, you have to do the psychological problem of that guy from the very beginning. From the time he was born, this is a community, you already, when a child is growing up, where he's going, although sometimes they have a turn and a crossroad that they become good. But even then, that should not be there. We have to do a psychological study on every community from the school, what happened. The teacher will report that this guy, thing like that, this boy or girl, there seems to be a problem. And then the religious organization must also have some input. Whatever kind of religion you have, if they believe in God, they should emphasize the wisdom and the teaching of God in the Bible. All those things are things. We have all the same book, but sometimes we have different outcome. So it's all a psychological problem.
All right. Thank you very much. It's time for another break, and D18 Live will continue right after this.
Introducing the Alpha Plus app. Pay insurance premium online using the Pay feature. Get estimate quotes for auto, home, commercial, and other insurance offered by Alpha Insurers. View our list of exclusive deals available at our partner merchants. So download the all-new Alpha Plus app on Google Play or the App Store. Alpha Plus, make every day a plus.
I cared for thousands of patients at their time of greatest need. I know how important it is to have our only public hospital accredited. With your help, Josh and I will change our island's approach to healthcare. We will reduce insurance costs, make sure there are enough beds at GMH, better utilize public health centers, and invest in the latest technology. We will get the job done. I'm in to help get us there, and I humbly ask for your vote.
I'm Lilian Guerrero, and I approve this message.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
The Good Life, all month long on the stations and networks of KUAM. Check the KUAM News app or KUAM.com for all program listings.
Welcome back, everyone. Time is running short here, so we're going to just jump right back into the questions. Senator Barnes, this is a topic that you're pretty familiar with. It has to do with marijuana, but your bill had to do with medicinal marijuana.
Cannabis, yes.
Our question tonight is, where do you stand on legalizing recreational marijuana?
Well, Nestor, I need to share with you that when this question came out, we went out to the community, and the community chose to work with medicinal cannabis first. And before we can even look at recreation, let us implement what the people voted for at the will of the people to help those that were truly suffering from debilitating health issues. For me personally, I'd like to see the medicinal cannabis program work. And if there's any changes, if the people support an adult use, then let it be at the will of the people. But for me personally, let us implement what the people have already voted for, and that is medical cannabis for those who are truly suffering from debilitating health issues.
Quickly, recreational, up or down?
I think I'd give it an option to the people.
Okay. Mr. Dominguez.
Well, I share with her opinion about before the recreational, it should be the medicinal requirement. And then we should find the expert what the negative effect or what are the positive effect, us as an individual, we don't know. So we have to lay it on the expert. There is an opinion. Why other states are allowing it, other states are not. You should not put a gray area on that. But like Tina here want is the medicinal purpose of her. The recreational, they can find another kind of recreation in this world. I've been in this age 81. I did not go much about recreational. I do about my health, and I did not have all those things. But if that is their way, I become healthy. I'm a diabetic. I'm now 81, but I'm still strong. I don't have the problem like other people are thinking. So medicinal is okay, but it's still furthermore study.
Okay. Have time to squeeze in one more question. And this is one of the big ticket items, political status, which is something that strikes to the very core of a lot of people. Where do you stand on Guam's political status?
I stay on statehood. And then second, if we cannot get statehood, we go independence.
Okay. And explain that in particular. Why do you favor statehood over any
in the scenario that we cannot get away with America because we were sold by Spain to America. So in reality, we were just given a temporary, okay, if you do good, you have independence, but you cannot let you go to another option. Then we can give you independence. But if you behave towards America, you're still independent. Because you cannot get away with America. You have to play and dance with them. Because they are the one that control us. And sadly, that is the way we are. Like any other nation, sometimes they have to cling with a big nation as long as they're given the liberty to do so.
Okay, Senator Barnes?
My aspirations, Nestor, would have me looking at independence, but realizing the stand before us, I would choose a free association, an association with the United States of America and some governance to where we can govern ourselves, but step away from full and go through full decolonization. I think there needs to be a heavy campaign, an educational campaign, not just within the education department, but also community outreach with every village. So education, and doing community outreach with the community so everybody understands what we're up. Again, free association, statehood, or independence is all that's before us. There is no status quo.
All right, we've got to take another short break, and we'll be back to wrap up this segment right after this.
You guys excited back there?
Avenue Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Why turn a meal into a snack when you can turn a snack into a meal? A 3-cheese blend pico de gallo, double the marinated steak, and a medium drink.
At least they're cute.
Taco Bell's new steak nachos box. It's kind of a big meal.
Enjoy Eats on the Streets at the 6th Annual Guam Barbecue Block Party. Head down to Pleasure Island, Tumon on Saturday, July 7th from 5:30 to 10 p.m. for live entertainment, a classic car show, hot diggity dog hot dog eating contest, and see who will win the island's biggest barbecue competition. Admission is free. This GBB signature event is presented by T Galleria by DFS, Plaza Shopping Center, Outrigger Guam Beach Resort, and Dusit Thani Guam Resort, making Guam a better place to live, work, visit, and barbecue.
With the cost of living going up, healthcare at risk, and ensuring quality education for our children, you have the power to decide the final 15. Join us. Ask your questions every Monday and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV8 for D18 Tonight, and the after party at 7 p.m. on our exclusive digital show streaming on Facebook. You control the conversation, and we'll deliver the results. Check the KUAM News app or website weekly for guest listings.
We've actually got time for one more question before we wrap the show up. And another Facebook question from Alan Addison Nicholas. What are you going to do about the paratransit for people with disabilities to go to their workplace and appointments? According to Alan, this hasn't been fixed for a long time. How would you fix it? And let me start with you, Armando.
Well, having been in it on transportation, as people who can volunteer in their own villages, and then you pay them per their volunteer, they can save the gasoline. But then right away they're in the village to volunteer. It's like a Grab taxi, you know, and then the government pay that. I think it could save more money because the transportation from station to any village is too far. But if you get volunteers on the village, they're not actually volunteers, but they will be paid a minimum. I think we can solve the transportation in a fast manner, you know. The solution, the travel time will be more faster. If you have in every village, ask the volunteer who can volunteer with pay or no pay.
Okay. Senator Barnes, how would you address some of the issues with the paratransit
I think it should be a priority for those with disabilities to get the paratransit. I think that the Department of Integrated Services for Individuals with Disabilities and the Guam Mass Transit should come together, reassess what they have, and work with the successes that's not working. And if those persons with disabilities continue to have concerns, those concerns need to be addressed. But again, a reassessment, working with the agencies, coming together, and seeing what amicable solutions for the better of these riders that the changes need to be made if they're not working right now.
Okay, thank you very much. That wraps up the Q&A portion of their show. We'll give you about 60 seconds each to kind of wrap it up for yourselves and appeal to your voters and ask them for their support. Let me start with you, Senator Barnes.
I've been your public servant for over 34 years. I have the passion, I have the heart. I want to continue to work for you. My life experiences have brought me to this journey and chapter in my life, and I want to continue to be your public servant. I humbly ask each and every one of you to please give me one of your votes. Undunklo na si Zeus Masi, si Zeus Bini DC Hamzu. Thank you for considering me. Sainamasi.
Before I forget, I want to thank you all people who are watching this, and then I beg you again to please elect me, and then you will find out what I can give to the island. Really, we are in need of something that I cannot say how it can be done, but I know it can be done. Sometimes I am at a loss, especially I'm not familiar with this kind of situation, but once there, I will hear your problem and I will voice it out in the legislature. It's not me to think about it, but it's me who will speak for you. That I will do. Whatever is problem, I'll speak it for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here. And
thank you.
Once again, Mr. Armando Dominguez and former Senator Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, our guests tonight for D18. And we thank you for watching. Good night, everyone.
Furniture provided by Furniture Cathy Style. Men's wardrobe by Royal Bix.